What did you think about the madness in Madison?
The Michigan Madness. Yeah, that was interesting.
It was, we've talked about sportsmanship for years and years and years. I taught you the lessons I learned from John Paulus,
Yeah.
who was my tennis coach, who said if you've got somebody hooking calls, it's not their problem, it's yours.
Let's get into what
farther
happened.
in.
Let's get into what happened. So, there's like 15 seconds left in the game, right? It's in the Kohl Center, which is a pit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't win in the Kohl Center. I mean, Bo Ryan? Yeah, Bo Ryan won like 4 games, or lost like 4 games at the Kohl Center the entire time it's been there. It's just a pit. You don't win there.
Right.
Michigan's down by 15, and Greg Gard decides that he's going to call a timeout.
Well, wait a minute. Michigan was pressing.
Right. Michigan was pressing because that's what you do. You teach your kids you don't give up till the last whistle blows. That was an opportunity for Gard to teach his kids, listen, you may have 4 seconds. I don't care if they're bench players or not. They're going to be your starters. You don't call a timeout with 15 seconds left to get yourself extra time to get the ball over when you're up by 15 points.
No, it's like the unwritten rules of baseball. And what has been amazing to me is all the different people defending one side or the other. They were both at fault.
They were definitely both at fault. I agree. Juwan Howard never should have said anything. But if you look at the reference from Harry Potter, right? You and I were talking about this earlier, right? What was it? The 5th book where
something like
Umbridge was in it. I'm going to get super nerdy for a second here. But all of a sudden they're in the Quidditch match, right? Mm-hmm. And Malfoy starts giving crap to Harry and to the Weasley kids after he lost and goats him into attacking, right?
Right.
And what did the teacher say?
Professor McGonagall looked at him and said, what did you expect him to do? He lost.
Correct. And this is the same situation here. He said that was BS, right? He said that was BS as he's walking off the court. All Gard has to do is be the bigger person at this point and keep walking. Should Howard have said anything? No. But all he had to do is keep walking. And then Gard decides to grab his arm and get some Napoleon complex and get in his face about it. And all you're doing is instigating a guy who's already upset at the fact that he lost.
Right. Look, Howard needs to be suspended for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the regular season.
Gard should be suspended for a game as well.
He escalated it. He didn't start it, but he 100% escalated it.
Absolutely. And what really bugged me is I saw some of the interviews after the game. They were defending their actions instead of looking at the cameras and going, you know what, we've got to be bigger than this.
Correct.
We shouldn't have gone down this road. I saw Seth Greenberg's comments today, and he said, look, number one, both coaches should have just focused on their own team.
Yep.
Gard should have let Howard, press if he wants to, and Howard should have just let Gard do what he was going to do.
Right.
Both coaches coach their own team and be done with it.
Right.
But that's not what happened.
You're the leader of men. I mean, if this is how you're acting like children, I mean, you're not going to get your kids to follow you. I mean, if I'm watching this, I'm not sending my kids to go and play there because I'm not going to have my kids play for either team when they're children.
And that handshake, I know there was a suggestion that the handshake could go away. Absolutely not.
Be a bigger person. This handshake is to say good game. It's what you do. It's how I teach Grayson to play football, right? We'll go in the backyard, and I tell him to plow me over. I said, I don't care who you're playing. You hit hard. Because he was being slow about it. I said, no, you hit. You get in their face. That's part of the game. But as soon as you get up, you say good game. And we do it every time. If he knocks me over, I get up. I say, great hit, good game. If I knock him over, I make him get up and say, good hit, good game.
It's like I taught both you and Ryan, if you've got somebody hooking calls, hit your shot farther in, and after the game, you go over and you say, good game.
Right.
Integrity counts more than any game.
Right. That should have been for Howard, a who cares we lost, and it should have been from a Greg Gard realizing, listen, emotions are hot. Howard's had a tough season. He took a good Michigan team and has just tanked this year. And it's his first year as a head coach. All that stuff goes into it. But again, to go back to the Harry Potter reference, like what do you expect somebody to do that just lost?
They're going to lash out. And, Gard's getting ready for the tournament. They've got a great team. Johnny Davis is outstanding. But what did you just teach Johnny Davis?
Right.
Here's a kid who's done spectacularly well. He's got to rise above when bad things happen because he's going to get cheap shotted in the tournament. You better plan on it.
He is, and you just showed him that when people get in my face, I get back in theirs. It's not like you're defending your kids here.
No.
Bobby Knight, whenever he got into somebody's face, 9 times out of 10, it was defending his own team. Right? It's a different situation. Greg Gard, you're not defending anybody. You're not defending your kids. You are allowing a upset grown adult to get under your skin to the point that you grab him on the arm and escalate a situation.
Right. And again, Howard looked at him and apparently said, I'm going to remember this. Gard should have just walked away and said, okay, we'll see you next time.
Right. Remember it. Great.
Yeah. It was pathetic on all sides. Do I think Juwan Howard should be fired, as some people have suggested?
No.
Absolutely not. I mean, that would be carrying things way too far. He threw. I heard somebody today say that he munched the guy's face, because I don't think he threw a punch.
Open hand. He shouldn't have swung it. Somebody laid hands on him. Again, it was in the heat of a moment. You have a guy who's already upset at the fact that he lost. You have Greg Gard escalating the situation, and it escalated to points it didn't need to. Both people needed to be bigger. But again, what did Juwan Howard say? I'll remember this.
What it does, though, is it takes two formerly very classy organizations, and it makes people go, not so classy.
I mean, that doesn't happen with Bo Ryan being there.
No, it doesn't.
Off the court. It doesn't happen with Coach K. It doesn't happen with any. It doesn't happen with Bobby Knight. It might have happened, but again, it's what lesson is that teaching your kids at this point?
And I've heard Bobby Knight be brought up several times today by different people, going, well, this has gone on for years. Look at what Bobby Knight did. I'll say this about Bobby Knight. He had the backs of his players, not only while they were in school, he made sure they graduated,
right,
but he was there for them after school as well. We were talking about the one player that he had that had a substance problem.
Right.
And his family had tried to get him into help over and over and over again. And as a last desperate hope, he'd been out of school for quite a while. They called Coach Knight. Coach Knight said, I'm there. He flew in, got there the next day, and when that kid walked into the house, he knew it was serious.
Yep. That's when he knew he had a problem, because if Bobby Knight's going to show up, you got a problem. And again, Coach K's that way as well.
Sure.
I think Nick Saban's very much that way with his players.
Barry Alvarez always was.
Yep.
The good ones always remember their players.
Mac Brown is definitely one of those guys. So you definitely have good coaches out there, and then you have the Urban Meyers of the world, which
right. And this makes you question what kind of people Greg Gard and Juwan Howard are off the court. I think Howard is there for his guys. He was a player. He gets it. He was a player at the highest levels.
I think Juwan Howard is a rookie head coach who is not used to having the emotions of a head coach, because he hasn't gone through any of the ranks, right? He was just thrown right into it. And so he's not used to that side. He's used to being a player, and players will get in your face for that type of stuff. But you can't do that as a coach. And I think this is a lesson for him. He definitely shouldn't be fired. He definitely should be suspended. Greg Gard's been through the ranks.
And Greg Gard should be suspended. I think Howard coached last year, if I'm not mistaken, because he had an incident with Maryland.
Yes.
As they were going. So he's a second-year coach. But Gard should have known better. And, and this crap I heard where he goes, well, when I shake hands, I always grab the guy's arm. When you've got a hot guy, walk away. I think it was Kendrick Perkins was another guy I saw today. He goes, when a guy says, don't touch me, take him at his word and don't touch him.
Right.
It was just a bad look altogether.
Right. And when I say rookie head coach, not that this is his first year, I just mean that this is his first action as a coach, really ever, right? He hasn't done it before. So yes, second year. He's still in that rookie phase, though, where he's really learning the ropes. And again, Greg Gard's been there. He got a Napoleon complex, and it just got into a guy's face and escalated a situation. Both coaches were in the wrong. For recruiting side of things, if my kids are in those those recruiting realms right now, and I had them looking at Michigan or Wisconsin, I'm all of a sudden second guessing these choices.
Right. I mean, you got to look at the players. I think both are good schools. They're great schools.
Right.
And this is hopefully will be a blip, but I think the NCAA, and I honestly think Michigan is going to get way ahead of this and way ahead of the NCAA. I think Howard is suspended by tonight.
I'm sure he is. Again, he shouldn't be fired.
No.
He definitely shouldn't lose his job over this. People are allowed to have emotions. Same with Greg Gard. He's allowed to have those emotions. We're all only human, and we need to start remembering that when we see this stuff. These are people with emotions. They just got over a heated game.
But I'm going to come back to this. Greg Gard should not have called that timeout at that point. Your guys have to figure out how to get the ball up in 4 seconds, even against a press. There's few seconds left in the game. You're up by 15.
Right.
Let's go on to the next game.
Well, that whole thing, they're my bench, and, I don't want to put them in that situation. They're Division I basketball players. This is a learning experience for them. These guys are going to be your starters at some point. There's no better time to teach them this lesson. You're up by 15 points. What's the worst thing that happens is there's a turnover and they score a basket and then you get your 10 seconds left.
Right.
I mean, it's not like you have money on the spread or anything like that and you're trying to hold it.
We hope.
That we know of, right? But that's the only reason that you call a timeout in that situation is because you're trying to keep the score the way that it is.
And we're not suggesting that there was any betting.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I'm just throwing theories out there like, why do you call that timeout? That was dumb.
Again, I come back to the unwritten rules of baseball. You don't bunt when you've got a 10-run lead, and in this case, you don't call a timeout when you've got a 15-point lead, no matter what the situation is. Hey, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that last clip. To see more clips and full episodes of Sports Talk with Dad, click right over here. And as you can tell, I have a lot of bobbleheads. I want to buy more. Help me out by hitting subscribe right up here.